And our lead this hour coming from a familiar story, a story that we have been on, our obligatory story of the last year and a half from the NFL. And this comes from the court clerk's office. A major update in the legal sojourn of everyone's favorite Predator quarterback, Deshaun Watson, as the Watson turns. Now, have you been paying attention? I don't know how you could have missed it, but maybe you did. I can't assume that you pay attention. Maybe you actually have a job and a life and things like that. So Deshaun Watson has worked out a deal. We got a deal. Now, Watson got it, but he didn't get the full 1,000 batting average that he wanted. It's only a partial agreement, but we have learned now that Watson has settled 20 of the 24 civil lawsuits against him from various amateur and some professional massage therapists who all alleged he's a pervert and committed sexual misconduct during the appointments of varying degrees. Now, the attorney who's going to go cha-ching, 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 Tony Busby, representing the vast group of massage therapists, he announced that the move is done in a prepared statement. They're working out the paperwork, crossing the T's and dotting the I's. Now, Busby did say that the settlements are hush, hush, shh, shh. Nobody's supposed to know what's in the settlement. That does not mean that this story is over. It is not over, as Busby declared that they could not work out an agreement. There was no price point reached on 4 of the cases, which means there are still 4 trials that will begin starting, unless there's a settlement on those, in March of 2023. Buy your popcorn and candy now in advance. Standing room only for those trials. Now, we are hearing the NFL will announce discipline within the next 10 to 14 days. Many think, depending on how bad Roger Goodell does in Congress when he speaks on a Zoom call, that's going to get out. And if that goes really bad, the NFL will immediately pivot to announcing some kind of retribution to Deshaun Watson. Now, whatever punishment is handed down will be immediately appealed. So the thinking is the NFL wants to do this sooner than later because they would like this to play out before training camp. Training camp is about a month away, a little less than that from now. But the headline story here, don't bury the lead, my man. Deshaun Watson has done the thing that he said he would not do. And he has agreed to a financial settlement with the majority of those that have accused him of being inappropriate. So let us discuss the question. Now that we know 20 of the 24 are settled, how does this change the Deshaun Watson quagmire? So I've got patriotic, saloon, and tailor shop. And we will tie all of these things together. And we're going to make some delicious cake. That's right. Just regular cake. Nothing special, just cake. I'm more of the frosting guy. I like the frosting. But anyway. All right, so number one. Deshaun Watson finally tossed in the sponge. He did, right? Now, due to inflation, it cost him many more pesos than originally planned. And we had been whispering in hushed tones under the cover of darkness behind these microphones that this was the move here. This was the play from the very beginning. Even an amateur radio lawyer like yours truly knew that this was the move here. This was the inevitable outcome for most, if not all, of these cases. Nevertheless, Watson was and is, he continues to be pig-headed. He thought he would be able to navigate driving down a rocky road with a cliff on one side and roadside bombs on the other. And so Watson, the big problem he has is he left a lot of digital evidence. There's an incriminating digital trail of evidence connecting him with a bunch of random women who he was soliciting for massage therapy from around the country. Most of them were in Houston, but there were people in other states as well. They all had similar stories. It's not the typical behavior of a famous professional athlete that typically keeps a very tight circle. Not Deshaun Watson. He did like things tight, but not necessarily the circle. There's people he was hanging out with. So Watson, he's still facing an uphill battle. So the question of what changes with this quagmire, it's a man-made catastrophe. So Watson opens up. What he does now is he opens up the pillowcase. He takes out the petty cash to square things up with 20 of the accusers. We know that. That's the move of the rich and powerful. That's what the rich and powerful always do. In many ways, it's patriotic to do that, right? You can be a creeper if you have the financial capital to pay off the people that you're a creeper to. And that's what Deshaun Watson is doing here. Watson can now add his name to the list of shady politicians, other athletes, Hollywood celebrities, and social media influencers who have signed secret agreements. So the beer league softball-like batting average for Watson, 833, the batting average. Now remember, he needed about 1,000, so 833 is really good, but it's not 1,000. It's not 1,000. Now, secondly, why? Why now? Why did Deshaun Watson finally decide to pay up in this moment? All right, so the answer here is rather obvious. He was taking too many body blows, not the kind of body blows he likes, if you know what I'm saying. Now, in the last couple of weeks, last month or so, we've had the old gray lady and Real Sports over at HBO provide a lethal combination, the old 1-2 punch, crossing this story over. No longer just a sports story where a bunch of meathead fans. This became a mainstream story, and that becomes problematic. And we have a sneaking suspicion that the Cleveland Browns, their ownership, and some executives around the team there, NFL big shots in Manhattan, and those that are around Deshaun Watson got together and they held a huddle. And in that huddle, it was an intervention. Some high-profile people, they laid out all the cards on the table. And they used a mathematical formula, right? Using, not MALLER math, back of the napkin math. And they showed that this move to pay hush money, that's what he did, he paid hush money, is a shortcut to sidestep the fireball that is coming right at your face and your twig and berries and all of that. And also, it's protection. It's self-preservation. It's $230 million. That's the contract. It's a public relations fiasco. Damage being done. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows. So this turned into a day trip to the saloon. Going out and have a couple of drinks at the saloon. The CYA saloon. Cover your ass. And so if you look out for your best interest here, even though many are saying that claim to know that this will not change the punishment for Watson. More on that coming up later. We have a feeling that the NFL's kangaroo court will look very kindly on this settlement. That they were massaging the wheels, much like Deshaun likes certain things massaged, to get this done. And it's going to be seen as an act of goodwill. All right, last thing here. So what does this do now to the reputation of Deshaun Watson? So there is slight movement in that part of the story. Now, keep in mind, the mouth-breathing Browns backers, they will declare victory. See, I told you, it was all about the money. Well, of course, it was a civil case. That's all you can get out of this is money. Of course it was about the money. It wasn't a criminal case. It was a civil case. Anyway, in reality, these settlements make Deshaun Watson look worse, if that's possible, in the prism of public opinion. And I'll tell you why. Multiple times over the last year, Deshaun has reiterated that he was innocent and he wanted to clear his good name. He said, well, of course he's going to say that, but the way that he said it indicated this was not an option. Spoiler alert, it's a wing and a miss. He wanted all the facts to come out. That was one of the things he said. I want all the facts to come out and all this stuff. And turns out the facts will not come out in 20 of the 24 cases at least, because he paid to make sure the facts wouldn't come out. But here's the ugly truth. Deshaun Watson's name, which is obviously mud. Some players have the C on their jersey, the captain of the team. Well, Watson, his jersey is going to go to the tailor shop, and he's not going to have a C on there. He's going to have a scarlet letter embroidered on his uniform for the rest of his career. He's the creepy quarterback. Nothing that he can do will change all that. And the fact that he said he wanted the facts to come out and he was innocent and all that, and now he's made sure that that will not happen, because if the facts do come out, there's a violation of the non-disclosure agreement. Keep in mind that Watson can go out and win not one, not two, but 3 Super Bowls, and the vast majority of level-headed human beings, not the mouth breathers, but the level-headed human beings, will snicker when they hear his name. Now, on the bright side, Watson did protect the vast majority of all of the jewels, because he was playing around with the family jewels, and now he's protecting the financial family jewels from losing more money. And we'll see, as far as the suspension's concerned, there's chatter that I've heard that Watson is going to get 4 to 6 games for the credible, what the NFL deems as credible, accusations made against him. So you can do the math on that. The Deshaun Watson Marching in Chowder Society is counting on Watson getting 1 year. It will be appealed. He will then miss, say, 12 games, something along those lines, and then he'll be back by the end of the regular season. That's what they're leaking to their friends, the useful idiots in the media. And the way the NFL is going to do this, like big conglomerates operate, they're going to take the pulse of the room and say, where can we get some clout points? And what's the sweet spot? Not the kind Deshaun Watson likes. Not that sweet spot. The other sweet spot. Like, where's the number? Is the number 17 games? Is it 34 games? Is it indefinite? I think indefinite's off the table now. I think the pendulum swings back based on this, the settlements, back to a 1-year situation, which is really the sweetheart deal for Watson, because the way the contract was set up, he's going to lose peanuts financially in a 1-year suspension. And you really want to get that going right now.